Fine. Welcome back to our class. We're looking at the quantitative approach of planning. So number one is we look at the trade analysis, which we have discussed. We look at the modeling of multiple predictive techniques under quantitative approach. Several mathematical models with the end of computers are also used to forecast human resource need, optimization model, budget, and planning what analysis. So whereas trend analysis relies on a single factors, which is example sales, to predict employer or employment needs, the more advanced methods combine several factors such as interest rate, gross national product, disposable income, and sales to predict employer levels. While the cost of development, these forecasts methods used to be quite high. Advances in technological and computer software have made rather sophisticated forecasts more affordable to even small businesses. Now let's go to look at qualitative approach. Qualitative approach has to do with the expert forecast. So in contrast to the qualitative approach to forecast or to forecasting use less statistical tools such as expert forecast, different techniques are the most commonly used quantitative techniques. The expert forecasts in this method managers estimate future human resources requirements, their experiences and judgment to good effect. And we have the dolphin uh, techniques in attempt to decrease the objectivity of forecast by involving a group of pre-selected individuals and soliciting and summarizing the judgment. Thus, a group decision-making progress or process is invoked, which in turn requires a great deal of process orientation to enhance coordination and cooperation for satisfactory forecasts. So this method works best in situation where dynamics, technological changes affect staffing level. Ideally, human resource planning should use both quantitative and qualitative approach while forecasting human resource human demand. Both the approach complements each other, thus provide a wholesale focus. So whatever techniques one might utilize, but they take or they may need to be selected apparently and done systematically. So human resource planner many times go further and analyze the demand also on the basis of workforce analysis, workload analysis, and work analysis. So workforce analysis to demands the rate of influence and outflow of employee. So it is through this analysis one can calculate the labor turnover rate, absenteeism rate. Quantitative method go a long way in analyzing the internal flow created by promotions or transfer. We have the workload analysis. Workload analysis calculate the numbers of persons required for various jobs with reference to a planned output. So this takes into consideration factors such as absenteeism and idle times. Both quantitative and qualitative techniques are utilized for accurate results. So job analysis helps in finding out the abilities or skills required to do job efficiently. So a detailed study of job is usually made to identify the qualifications and experience required for them. So job analysis require includes two things: job description, job specification. So job description is a factual statement of the duties and responsibility of a specific job. It gives an indication of what is to be done, how it is to be done, and why it is to be done. So job description provide information on job attributes in terms of education, skills, aptitude, and experience necessary to perform job effective and to perform job effective and job effective. So this you will learn and learn. Now, human resource supply forecast that is all those discussion about demand. And let's be a bit fast because of time. So after forecasting the demand of human resource, there are steps to forecast supply. And one of those steps is still internal and external sources. Internal sources, the most popular approach to be followed by all managers is to look within the organization until and usually unless the opening is not related to immensely diversified field of which the existing workforce might not possess requisite skill and the cost of training may be working out to high. So it is easier to go in for an internal source for recruitment because it is cost saving in many ways to utilize what is already available to the organization. So a profile of employee in terms of age, sex, education, training, experience, job level, past performance, and future potential is continuously maintained for use whenever required. Plus, if the requirement is terms of, of, of growth, diversification, internal movement of employees, transfer, promotion, requirement, retirement, and determined advances that data can be very useful. So an internal supply analysis is done with staffing table, Markov analysis. Markov analysis shows the percentage and actual number of employees who remain in each job for 1 year to the next, thus keeping track of the pattern of employee movement through various jobs. Thus, this analysis requires a, a composite matrix of supply. Skill inventories list each employee's education, past work experience. So that is a list of internal analysis. So look at the skill analysis, look at replacement chart. In terms of external, the skill base, the structure of the existing workforce, um, possible changes in the production, the availability of relevant skills, and so on and so forth. So the gaps analysis, human resource gap analysis. So the final stage is to balance out demand and supply gaps. The closer the gaps, the better it is for the company. It actually goes into procurement. So a comparison chart can be developed to one which is available and to which what extent it can fulfill the demand forecast. So this exercise helps us to have an idea of the quantitative gaps in the workforce. Now, human resource plan operative formulation. So the organization operates in changing environment. Consequently, human resource requirements also change continuously. So changes in product mix, union agreement, uh, competitive action are some of the important things that need special attention. So the human resource requirements identify needs to be translated into the concrete words human resource plan, backed up by detailed policies, programs, and strategy for recruitment, selection, training, promotion, retirement, and placement. So the books present human resource operation plan, recruitment plan, redeployment plan, redundant plan, training plan, productivity plan, retention plan, control points. So responsibility for human resource planning, what is the responsibility? Is to assist and counsel operating managers to plan and set goals, collect and summarize non-power data, keeping long-run objectives and broad organizational interests in mind. Monitor and measure performance against the plan and keep top management informed about it. Provide uh, proper research based on effective manpower and organizational planning. So problem in human resource planning process is inaccuracy. The problem in human resource planning process, the problem faces inaccuracy. So human resource is entirely dependent resource forecasting and supply, which cannot be set per cent accurate process. So we have the employee resistance, employee and their union feels that by human resource planning their workload increases to so they resist the process. Uncertainties, labor absenteeism, and labor turnover, seasonal employment, technological changes, market frustration, and uncertainties which one resource plan process might have to face. D is inefficient information system. So in India industry, for example, the human resource information system is not much strong. So it is the absence of reliable data. It is not possible to develop effective. For here in Nigeria, it is very, very possible. So time and expense, human resource planning is time consuming and expensive exercise. So industries avoid. So there are guidelines for effective human resource planning. What are tailor-made? Tailor-made human resource should be balanced with corporate objective. We have the appropriate time, the period of human resource should be appropriate to the need of, and circumstances of the organization. We have the adequate organization. Human resource uh, process should be adequate, properly organized. So top management support is another guideline you should consider. So before starting the human resource planning process, the support and the commitment should be ensured. So participation, human resource planning will be stressful if all in an organization are participating. We have the information system, adequate database should be developed for facilitating human resource planning. So balance is focus. So balance focus, the quality and the quantity should be stressed in a balanced manner. So in summary, as we conclude, human resource planning is the process of determining the number and the kind of human resource required in an organization for a specific period in future. So human resource planning is important for an organization because of the changing scenarios. So human resource planning is is formulated at various levels. The main step involved in it are analysis of organizational plan, demand forecasting, supply forecasting, identifying manpower gaps. Identifying what? Manpower gaps. So the main steps involved in it are of analysis of human resource, analysis of human resource planning, demand forecasting, supply forecasting, and identifying manpower gaps. Thank you very much for your time. So you can take note of the necessary question and you can see it. Thank you very much for your time. God bless.